In our previous session, we learnt about socio-emotional development from 0 to 3 years, developmentally appropriate practices, and importance of the developmental milestones. In this session, let's gain an understanding of language development. The process of language development starts at a very early stage of human life. The cooing, babbling at the early stages of life are a part of language development process. Language is very important for communication. So, young babies start communicating in their own way to get their needs attended. The famous theorist Noam Chomsky opines that humans are born with language acquisition devices, that is, biologically, every human being had the ability to understand language. But nurture also plays an important role in achieving language development. Research also has proved that the fetus responds to the voices around and especially the mother and the father, hence assuring the fact that the capacity to learn language is inborn. In contrast to Chomsky's views, Vygotsky theorized that language develops from social interaction and is the greatest tool for communication. According to Vygotsky, language remains as silent inner speech at birth, then gradually transforms to private speech and finally blooms into social speech. There are various views of language development, with both nature and nurture playing an equally important role. Importance of language development. Language is the most important tool for communication. Language development is a very important part of the social skills that the child has to acquire. Language helps a child to effectively communicate and relate to others. Delay in language development can lead to frustration, low confidence, and poor communication skills in a child. Learning outcome. To understand the developmental milestones of language from 0 to 3 years. To gain knowledge of developmentally appropriate practices involved for the same. To apply the knowledge gained to real life situations. During the first 3 months, baby reacts to loud noises and cries, stares at faces, smiles, and makes cooing sounds. Around 4 to 5 months, babies can ascertain the direction from which voices are heard and also to other kinds of voices. Laughing, squealing, drooling, cooing in response to voices or cooing to toys. By 6 months, baby responds when called by its name. Observes adults' lip movement when they are talking. With cooing, there is babbling as well. The babbling resembles the sounds of vowels. By 9 months, baby is able to understand conversations, tries to put 2 or 3 sounds together, can imitate reading books aloud, can understand no. By 1 year, baby can call out for the father and mother, can put 2 or 3 words together like milk, give, want, doll, and so on. Can imitate speech sounds, can follow simple directions, very attentive to conversations, sing along rhymes. Developmentally appropriate practices. For a newborn baby, as the vision is blurred, it's very important that the adults interact with the child being very physically close to them. The adult's face must be very close to the baby, as babies like staring at faces. Never be quiet when the child is awake. Talk to the baby. Babies can pick sounds of the language and imitate them. Cooing and babbling is very common in the first half of the baby's life. Encourage more cooing and babbling by repeating whatever the child does. Keep calling out to the child by its names. Adults can introduce themselves as mom, dad, and so on. Introduce books as early as possible. This serves as an excellent tool for language development. Help the child to differentiate between real objects and the same represented in pictures. At 1 year, the toddler is able to understand nouns, but sense of classification is yet to develop. The toddler will be curious to things that are farther away, will be able to point out and ask about it. Private speech is observed. By 1.5 years, the vocabulary capacity can be up to 50 words. The child is able to refer itself by its name. The child is able to identify parts of the body, can point out to objects when asked. The child might know the words, but pronouncing certain words can be difficult, and help might just pronounce half of the word or can replace words that rhyme the same way. For example, cat may become tat, car as star, and so on. The child will be able to answer simple questions, can make out the difference in tone of the conversation, can express emotions through words. By 2 years, child is able to speak in longer sentences, can sing rhymes, and able to express needs clearly. Developmentally appropriate practices. Teach names of all objects and things around. At this stage, children will use both gestures and single words to communicate. Encourage the child to talk more and use fewer gestures. If adults keep responding to gestures, the child will feel comfortable in using gesture rather than talk. Storytelling, rhymes, and dramatization are excellent tools for learning to talk. Usually, most of the children are in a daycare and hence will start learning another language as well. Encourage the child to express emotions through words. Milestones from 2 to 3 years. At this stage, the child is able to narrate simple stories, understand complex instructions, understand simple questions like what, where, and who. Vocabulary capacity is around 1000 words approximately. Can definitely speak 2 to 3 sentences at a time. Grammatical errors are very common. Baby talk still exists. Child may put words together which can appear as stammering or stuttering, but it is not so. Encourage narration and singing. Give simple topics for the child to talk. It's the questioning age as well. So, answer the questions patiently as well. Question the children back to enhance thinking skills. Expose a child to various concepts to increase their vocabulary strength. Children will be introduced to alphabets, which is an important part of language development. Learning through sounds is the best way. Children, in their excitement to express things, can talk very fast, leading to gibberishes. Encourage the child to talk slowly. Make the child understand that you will hear patiently. Language development ultimately is related to socio-emotional development as well. Only if a child is able to express well, communicate it will lead to forming good social relations and positive emotional development. caretaker, parents, and teachers play a very important role in helping the child to meet their developmental milestones. Care has to be taken that individual differences will exist, and teachers especially have to be considerate towards children. Parents must take care that they don't compare their child's progress with that of other children. If there has been any marked developmental delay, proper screening is required and immediate assistance can reduce the repercussions of such delays. The contents given in this module are very general. The activities can be made more unique and individualistic, keeping in mind the capacity of the children. Thank you.